I heard about these EWCs. Do you know what an EWC is?
Yes, I do. It's the short for European Work Council. It's an institution conceived by European Union for the representation of workers.
And do you also know what it is for?
Sure. It is for the information and consultation of the workers in big companies with business in different European countries.
Is it a sort of huge company union representation?
Yes, in a certain way. As nowadays big companies do business in different countries with different levels of guarantees for workers, then EU envisaged to create an institution to represent workers at top level of the company.
And so, what is their utility?
Let's make an example. You work in Italy for an English bank. So, the decision concerning the future of your job could be taken in London as you are working in Milan. Now, the English bank must communicate in advance to the E.EWC all the decisions which can affect your job.
How long does this possibility exist?
Well, a first version of the E.EWC was introduced in 1994. Afterwards, EU wrote a new directive in 2009. This second directive is very important because it introduces the idea of transnationality and refers openly to trade unions.
Are trade unions established in the EWC?
They have an active role in the negotiation or renegotiation process of the agreements which establish the EWC. Trade unions and employers, as official European social partners, are informed of the start-up of the negotiations in order to follow the establishment and promote the good practices.
What can trade unions do by EWC?
EWC is a fundamental means to face big multinational companies to protect workers' positions and avoid incorrect or injurious behaviors depending on the country where the company operates.
What can the EWC do to avoid it?
If the EWC is well established, it is empowered to induce companies to a general realignment and rebalancing to avoid national distortions or conditions of competitions among groups of workers.
How can it do this?
Its role is to smooth the exchange of information among workers' representatives, to find the omissions of the management, to facilitate the exchange of ideas to solve common problems, to allow the use of all information useful to bargaining and prevent the unfair treatment of workers from different countries.
But can they be an effective means at a moment when we witness huge processes of fusion and incorporation of companies at the international level?
They are useful especially for that purpose. Mainly for that reason, they must be more and more involved in the anticipation of change in companies to prevent the negative consequences of the restructuring procedures.
How can they do that?
Have a look to the directive. Only a dialogue at the level of decision-making and an effective involvement of the workers' representatives make possible the anticipation and the management of change.
And what must an EWC member do?
It's important that EWC members are aware of their role and improve their competencies to fulfill it. In the agreement to establish the EWC, it's necessary to stress the link with national and local trade union representatives, as the EWC members can inform workers' representatives on the outcomes of the procedure of information and consultation.